Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa Namale, Gaura Solpaya, Radha Krishna Prastaya Te.
Namo Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa Namale, Gaura Solpaya, Radha Krishna Prastaya Te.
Namo Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa Namale, Gaura Solpaya, Radha Krishna Prastaya Te. Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Chaitanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Chaitanya. Haribol. Everybody sing.
Radha Krishna Chaitanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Chaitanya.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Chaitanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Chaitanya.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Chaitanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Chaitanya.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Shri Vasudeva Bhakta Vrinda.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Shri Vasudeva Bhakta Vrinda.
Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Gopala Govinda Rama, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Haribol, Nitai Gaur, Haribol, Haribol. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Haribol, Nitai Gaur. Gurudev.
Krishna,
Jaya Jaya Srila
Hari
Prabhupada.
Bol Krishna,
Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev,
Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda.
Hari Bol Krishna,
Paramahamsa.
Hari Bol Krishna,
Jaya Jaya
Hari
Siddhaswarupananda.
Bol Krishna,
Paramahamsa.
Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa, Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa.
Namo Siddhaswarupananda. Paramahamsa Namitne. Gora Karuna Swarupaya. Radha Krishna Prestaya Te.
Namo Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa Namite, Ora Karuna Swarupaya, Radha Krishna Prestaya Te.
Haribol.
Haribol Namaste. So we'll continue the study program. So yesterday we had a discussion about the pastimes of Lord Krishna when he terminated or ended the life of Kamsa. Kamsa is the demon who made this world very miserable because of his group, the demons, during the time wherein they became so powerful and predominantly invaded all the place. Ang nangyari, si Kamsa, he imprisoned the king of the Bodja dynasty. And what he did was, he gathered all his friends, all the demons who are powerful kings and mystics, to find Lord Krishna and kill him. So yun yung reason kaya yung mga demon, they were looking for Lord Krishna. So they found out that he's in Vrindavan. So Kamsa sent a lot of demons there. Putana demon, Trinabarta demon, Agazura demon, all those demons were killed by Lord Krishna. Pero the reason he killed all those demons because they were disturbing the devotees of Lord Krishna. They wanted to inflict harm. Gusto nilang mag-inflict ng harm sa devotees ni Lord Krishna. So when Lord Krishna went to Mathura, so he had a fight with the wrestlers, yung kagahapon, yung wrestlers, Tosala, Chanura, and they're really big, strong men. And since Lord Krishna always appears as a young, beautiful child, a lovely child, so everybody were so disgusted kasi they saw the wrestlers were so powerful and they tried to harm Lord Krishna. And they felt in that arena that there's something wrong here. It's inauspicious. So what happened was Lord Krishna, when he killed the Kanura, Tosala, and Chanura, all the wrestlers, they were killed by Lord Krishna and Lord Balaram. And all the other wrestlers ran for their lives. Takbo sila lahat. But what made Lord Krishna very angry was when Kamsa began to blaspheme his devotees. And he wanted all the devotees there, especially Mother Vasudev, Devaki, and King Ugrasena to be killed. And he wanted all those who are devotees, who were there to be killed. And not only that, he wanted Lord Krishna and Balaram to be killed also and be driven away. But Lord Krishna became so angry when he began to utter blasphemy and wanted to inflict pain upon the devotees. So at that time, Lord Krishna jumped upon him and he killed King Kamsa and then drug him. So the point is this. All those devotees were in this meditation of remembering the Supreme Lord 24/7. Their lives, they're simply thinking of Lord Krishna. And they were not even thinking about themselves. It's all about meditating and doing what is pleasing to Lord Krishna. So the science we follow, the science of Bhakti Yoga, is based upon the teachings of Lord Krishna when he tells us, just surrender unto me and I'll protect you. Serve me, love me. And one should offer loving devotion and be connected in harmony with His will. So yun yung process ng Bhakti Yoga, to do the will of God. To do the will of God doesn't mean you experience so much pain or you engage in so much sacrifice wherein you're suffering. No. The process itself is purifying, and when one comes to realize his true identity, that he's not the body, he begins to realize and see his mind, the desires in the mind, and also the intelligence. He begins to now understand that what is the divisiveness that separates him from pleasing and loving the Supreme Person are those material desires in the mind. So the process itself is purifying. So Lord Krishna, the Supreme Purifier, comes as the sound, the holy names. So it purifies us from this misgiving and misconception wherein we are now able to understand our relationship with the Supreme Person. So the more you chant, the more we chant, the more we engage in the process of devotional service, the more we get closer to Lord Krishna. And the sign is that we begin to develop a taste, an experience of doing what is pleasing to God. So in this case, we begin to be attracted to the transcendental sound of the holy names and the pastimes of the Supreme Person. We begin to become interested with the eternal world that is a relationship between Lord Krishna and His devotees. How He loves His devotees, how the devotees serve and love Him, and then we begin to enter that world. So when we chant the holy names, Lord Nitai Gaur, Lord Chaitanya is there. So the more we become purified, the more we enter that world. Because we, the living entity now, we are able to appreciate the sweetness, the comfort, the safety, the security, wherein our life is completely under the care of the Supreme Person. And that is symptomized by our eagerness to chant, our eagerness to think about what is pleasing to God. So in that way, we experience a higher taste. And that higher taste is our relationship with the Supreme Person that protects us. Because we cling to that, and then when Maya or the material desires are there in our mind, we're able to see it. And now, it doesn't disturb us because we have now a one-pointed direction of engaging in activities and tasting and doing what is pleasing to God. So, machi-check mo. So, we're always protected when we follow the process. And the process is the purificatory process of hearing and chanting the holy names and pastimes of the Supreme Person. So, the more we hear the pastimes of the Supreme Person, the more we gravitate towards what is sweet, what is pleasing, and what is transcendental that gives us happiness. Because if we gravitate towards or we begin to focus upon this world, we gravitate upon following the material desires, then we experience all the pain. And those pain, we experience it on a daily basis, every moment. The miseries of anticipation, the miseries of the anxiety wherein we know we're gonna leave everything behind, and when we are separated from supposedly what will give us happiness. So this is the world of suffering, and the reason is we become attached to this world. And when the source of our meditation and our activities and engagement wherein our senses are so attached to trying to enjoy the flickering happiness, and that becomes our source of relief or comfort, and when it's stopped, we're separated, or it's separated from us, we experience pain. So realization of this basic truth that we are not this body, and experiencing the process wherein we are able to apply this remembering that of the Supreme Person in His pastime that purifies our heart, that gives comfort to the heart, and also connects us with the will of God. And we experience ananda or happiness. And the more we gravitate towards doing what is pleasing to the Supreme Person, directed now by His teaching and our desire to do His will. So the whole point we are engaging in this process is to do the will of God. Because if we're not doing the will of God, which is relating to Him in loving service, then what will happen? We will be experiencing separation from the source of happiness. And the source of happiness is Krishna. He's the one who can fulfill what we're longing for, our heart's longing. Looking for a friend, looking for someone to love, someone to be with, to eternally live with, and enjoy with His pleasure. So the devotees in Vrindavan they went to Mathura. So Kamsa's there. So what happened was Kamsa tried to inflict harm upon Lord Krishna and all the devotees. But since Krishna's promise that His devotees, nothing can happen to them, He declares boldly that He will protect His devotees. And He exemplified that through His actions. So His promise that He will protect the devotees is exemplified by the lives of the devotees who are in meditation, who are serving the Supreme Person, those transcendental personalities who are liberated from material desires, who are pure loving servants of God. Playing the role of Krishna's father, playing the role of Krishna's mother, and his friends who came from Vrindavan, the cowherd boys and cowherd men. So, through the narrative of our instructing spiritual master, we can see that there's continuity, eternal continuity with what is transcendental. Meaning eternal activities of the Supreme Person and eternal activities of the living entity who is in harmony with the loving service, who is engaged in this transcendental world of devotional service, pure devotional service. There's continuity. But material life, it's always, it stops, then another, then another. There's no continuity in relationship. There's no continuity in what we're doing that will suffice to give us happiness. So, walang continuity. Kasi when you leave this body, there's karma. What is karma? Action and reaction. So, you may be together with your families. Now, you're attached to your families. Just like when there's rain, there's water flowing, a small creek or a small water going down towards the creek or to the river, all the twigs comes together. When they fall down, they separate. So here in this world, you can see that when you're born here, you're with your family, through conditioning, you become attached to your papa, mama. You become attached to your friends due to conditioning. But when you leave this body and we're not in the stage of transcendental, continuous devotional service, wherein our life is simply unalloyed pure devotion to the Supreme Person, then we will continue experiencing the suffering in this world by being separated again from those we are attached to. You're attached to your parents now, then when you leave the body, you have another parent, or you may be in a different body, and it's on and on and on, the cycle of birth and death. So you can see it. So now, after understanding who you are, you can see that all the attachment, all the connection you have with this body will come to an end when you leave the body. Is it clear, Govinda Dasi? Pag iniwan mo yung katawan mo, lahat ng connection mo sa body, ng body na to, you're gonna leave it behind. So, you ask this question, what will be my life when we leave this body? What will be my situation? Where can I be sheltered? Saan ako mag-aas ng, paano ako magkakaroon ng refuge? Paano ako magkakaroon ng continuous happiness? Because the living entity, all of us, we're always longing to experience joy and happiness. A relationship. And that relationship is satisfied and is satiated, like when Lord Krishna promised us that He will protect us. So when Lord Krishna appeared here 5,000 years ago, He showed sa pastimes niya that His devotees, all His devotees will never perish. They will always be protected. So He came here to establish religion. And what is religion? Religion is love for God. Because that is the eternal world that we should be in, loving service to the Supreme Person. But because of conditioning and attachment to this world, material life, we're not so inclined to be directed in that world. But there is a process wherein this misdirection will fade away and this disease will become cured. And what is that disease? The disease of materialism, the disease of false ego, and it is based upon envy and doing our own will. So the whole process should be doing the will of the Supreme Person, because we are eternally connected to Him, and our natural position and function is we are dominated, loving servant of God. We will never be the dominator. So in this world, you can see all the misgiving and unfortunate situation you all experience is because we want to dominate. We want to control. Okay? You want to control someone. You want to give your love to someone. You want to control that person. But definitely, even though that person will be attached to you, serving you, and that person leaves the body, it's very painful. And not only that, because that person is not God, and you're not God, you'll not experience complete happiness. Because you are not self-sufficient, definitely, and absolutely. So when one is intelligent, he has this intelligence now, he can see that the suffering that one experiences is due to his disassociation from the world that is transcendental, the world of life. We are now in the world of death. All what we do is connected with this dead body. That's why all the pain we experience, the unhappiness, is connected with this body. But there is a process wherein what will save us, what will protect us, it is God coming down, inviting us to go back. And it is shown to the narrative of the spiritual master, the pastimes of Lord Krishna, wherein he protected all the residents of Vrindavan and the resident of Mathura and killed Kamsa, who is a demon who wants to inflict pain upon others, who wants to be the Lord. So in a way, we can check ourselves. how much we want to dominate this world. Our world is about domination. So a certain person can dominate a certain criteria or a standard, or in you can weigh it. He dominates a certain amount of material energy, control, or other living entities. But he can never be in control eternally. And this control should be clearly understood, that it must be based, what we should be engaging in while we're in this world is that we're temporary caretakers. Caretakers. We don't own anything. So if we don't own anything, it belongs to someone. My brother, my sister belongs to someone. So this world now, you see it as not as a place for you to manipulate or control, but rather an opportunity for us to be in harmony with shepherding, caring, and also using everything to be connected with what is pleasing to God. And it comes very easily through the mercy of God, through the chanting of the holy names. So the more we engage in the practice of devotional service, we can check that, yes, my heart, my mind, my whole being, me, I am gravitating towards taking shelter of the Supreme Person, that even though I can see the mind full of worries, full of envy in the mind, the greed, the anxiety, you're not disturbed. You can just watch it and carry on with your service to the Supreme Person. For example, when you wake up in the morning, you're not yet awake, then you hear the bell, ting, 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 and the mind will tell you, okay, just sleep, okay? But you know in your heart, you must have this relationship with God. So you go, you raise your body, direct your mind, take a bath, and then do japa to remember Krishna. And when you do it in practice, practice makes one perfect. It becomes natural to you that even though you're sleeping or your body is resting, your mind now will be in this world wherein it is directed towards what is pleasing and doing the will of God. Everything you see, everything you do, it's connected. Every relationship, your son, your daughter, your husband, your wife, it's related upon caring and loving and helping them come to the point of knowing the Supreme Person, facilitating as much as they like, not forcing. It's different when you enforce, because the living entity has always the freedom to make a choice, to make a decision. But if you make the wrong choice of trying to dominate others and try to control others by pushing yourself and intimidating them, then it will not be a very congenial or a happy result. Okay? So the process we follow is the third prayer of Lord Chaitanya. And what is that prayer? Jagadisha Dasi? Okay? One should chant the holy names of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking himself lower than the straw in the street, more tolerant than the tree, and devoid of all sense of false prestige, and ready to offer all respects to others. So that state of consciousness is the consciousness of the devotee. He's always offering respect to others. He's tolerant about the urge of the mind, the desire. He's tolerant about others' mistake, and he's tolerant upon the suffering of this world, because he understands clearly that whatever pain that he experiences is due to his karma. You will experience a certain reaction and result because of the previous activities you did na in-engage mo. A certain consciousness you have now because of your action before. So now, the question is, where are you going? What direction will you be treading ano yung tracks na pupuntahan natin. Will it be this world, be here in this world wherein it's a desert world, it's an ocean of misery, or where our heart will have comfort, and that comfort is doing the will of God. And it is exemplified by those who experience so much suffering and pain from the demons in the pastimes wherein Lord Krishna killed Kamsa. Because the mother of Lord Krishna, Vasudev and Devaki, they're playing that role. They don't see Krishna as a supreme person. They see him as their child. So Kamsa imprisoned them, and prior to that, he wanted to kill even her sister Devaki, because he heard a sound from the space that the eighth son will kill him. So he got the hair of Devaki and tried to cut her head, and Vasudev pacified him. And he came to his senses, but because of his envy of God, he imprisoned them. He imprisoned his father, so he became the emperor who is in control. So you see how hard-hearted he is, and he wanted to always inflict pain upon those who are serving God. But Krishna will never allow that. So sa pastimes ito, Krishna's, you can see that one quality of God's attractiveness is His truthfulness. He's always truthful, and His promise will never be broken. So if we simply put our lives in His hands, then He will be the one to guide us. Who will give you intelligence? Who will give you remembrance? It's Krishna. Because the Supreme Person sees past and future. He's eternal. His body is spiritual, but our body is not, this body we have now is not a real body. This is made of matter. Okay? So the living entity is a different energy, you, me. So if we simply follow this path, you can check, you can see through scriptures and through the past saintly persons that they're always protected. And when Lord Krishna and Balaram, Lord Krishna and Balaram went to a brahmachari school with Sandipani Muni, the teacher taught them the science of the Vedas. Because they are administrator and warriors, they were taught the martial arts, but everything is included. Science of astrology, science of engineering. So that's the school that they went to. Then after that, Lord Krishna finished his studies under the care of his spiritual master. So here we can see the Supreme Person putting himself in a position to be a student. Okay? But Sandipani Muni, the spiritual master, knows that they are the Supreme Person, Balaram and Krishna. So Lord Krishna puts himself under the care of the spiritual master. So that is how important the spiritual master is. Because Lord Krishna acknowledged the spiritual master as none different from him. And he made it that he put himself and Lord Balaram under the care of the spiritual master. So that is the guidance. So that is how important, and we can appreciate that if we have someone who is a resident of the spiritual world, who is eternally the loving servant of the Supreme Person, then our success in spiritual life is guaranteed. Because Krishna goes out of his way to protect us. And the spiritual master is always there to bless his disciple or students. So when you do Guru Puja every day, Krishna becomes very pleased. You make progress towards your relationship with God. You attend the worship wherein you bow down, you offer in devotion, then that is appreciated by Lord Krishna and the spiritual master. And whenever there is the chanting of the holy names, Nitai Gaur is there. So the more you chant, the more you experience the happiness of continual chanting The same mantra, Gopala Govinda Rama Madana Mohana, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So the transcendental names of the Supreme Person are none different from Him. All, it is invested with all His transcendental powers. That's why when the devotee calls Krishna, Krishna comes. The more you chant, the more your heart gravitates towards taking shelter and refuge of what is really real transcendental happiness, the relationship of having an eternal friend, an eternal lover, or an eternal master, someone you can take shelter. And when you are in that state, your life is simply dovetailed in doing what is pleasing to God. And there is a continuous progress that it becomes sweeter every day. The more you chant, the more you engage in devotional service, the more you want it, the more you want it. Material life is different. In the beginning, you like it, and after a while, you like to vomit what you have experienced. You don't want to remember it because it's painful, because there's nothing there. It's made of, it's dead. But spiritual life or activities in devotional service connected with the Supreme Person, who is self-sufficient, the cause of all causes, who is the master of all the demigods, who are being worshipped by all the saintly person, who those devotees are constantly in meditation upon pleasing Him, like the resident of Vrindavan who went to Mathura were all protected. So the science is about chanting and remembering the Supreme Person. And the more we chant and remember the Supreme Person in meditation, that is yoga. Yoga means union, and that union is about our relationship with the Supreme Person. So that is what religion is. Is it clear to you? Is it clear to everybody? Because we're eternally related, and we're eternally related with the Supreme Person. And now we can see what separates us. This divisiveness of our material contamination, the false ego, the mind's desire, and now we can check and see where we should be gravitating or directing our lives. But it's hard work, austerity, but in the beginning, it's hard, but after a while, it becomes natural for us to engage in the loving service of the Supreme Person, because the living entity is eternally the loving servant of God, who is joyful by nature under the care of the Supreme Person. So Lord Krishna promised us, just surrender unto me and I'll protect you. It's all encompassing. He'll protect you from anything, everything. He will be there to satisfy, to purify us, to protect us. And that is exemplified and done by Him when He came 5,000 years ago to protect the devotees and kill Kamsa. And He became so angry when Kamsa tried to harm His devotees. So we can see that when Lord Krishna tells us, He tells us, promises us that His devotee will never perish, then He's very truthful, transcendental, and it will always be done that He will protect His devotee. So the more we chant, the more we make, and when we make progress towards this relationship, then our joy, our meditation will be now focused upon doing the will of God, pleasing Him 24/7. In whatever capacity, whatever your individuals, you have different ways of serving God. But the meditation, the chanting of the holy names is sufficient to bring us to the transcendental world of pure loving devotional service. Remembering and chanting the holy names. Haribol Namaste. Is it clear sa'yo, Chaitanya Das? So you don't need, you just chant and then follow the process. And Krishna will be the one to take care of you. Haribol Namaste. So let's chant. Haribol Nitai Gaur. Namo Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa Navinde, Gora Karuna Sarupaya, Radha Krishna Prasthayate.
Namo Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa Navinde, Gora Karuna Sarupaya, Radha Krishna Prasthayate.
Namo Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa Navinde, Gora Karuna Sarupaya, Radha Krishna Prasthayate.
Namo Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa Navinde, Gora Karuna Sarupaya, Radha Krishna Prasthayate.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayanya.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayanya,
Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayanya.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayanya.
Bhakti Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Shri Vasudeva Bhakta Vrinda.
Bhakti Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Shri Vasudeva Bhakta Vrinda.
Gopala Govinda Rama,
Hare Krishna,
Madana Mohana,
Hare Krishna,
Gopala Govinda Rama,
Hare Krishna,
Madana Mohana. Haribol, Haribol. Everybody sing. Sing it down. Chaitanya, sing. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Haribol, Haribol. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana.
Jaya Gauranga. Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur. Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa. Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa.
Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa. Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa.
Namo Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa Namine Gora Karuna Swarupaya Radha Krishna Prestayate